I'm coming to realize the more I learn about myself, the less I knew about myself, and the less I knew about anybody else around me. Um, the more you go into your soul and what you call the dark night of the soul, or uh, rebirth, or extension, or whatever label at this time you're, or whatever level or label you're on. The thing that I've come to notice again is that you really know nothing about yourself or anybody else. We skate from person to person, thing to thing, based upon what we think we know of who we are and what we want. And when you get into your soul and start cleaning stuff up, when you start seeing you for really who you are, and the things that you didn't even realize were there pop up, and you start investigating where it came from, or why it's there, and how it got started. And then you come to a point to decide if that's who you truly want to be. And most of the time, it's not. Um, I can't say that there's ever been a journey within that I looked at and said, okay, I want to keep. There are some things. Let me take that back. The things that I loved about me, I had to really love about me to hold on to those things. The things that I disliked, number one, they're very hard to look at. Very hard to take a look and tell yourself that, and you feel like that. I think I made the face. I'm not sure, but it's like you feel like, oh, is that me? And it's cringy. And so I really understand why people lie and they cheat and they run away from that part of themselves, because it is cringy. You don't want to see yourself as the person you accused somebody else of being. and and then you create this facade around it, which becomes your mask, which becomes the thing that we use to show people who we think we want to be, who we think we are. But the funny part is that because you really know you know that that's not a truth. What you're portraying to somebody else is not the truth. It's a mask that you've worn to cover up that part of you that you don't like. And then that becomes an extension of so many things. It becomes an extension of the people that you meet, the places you go, the things that you do, and in turn lays a lesson on top of it. So here you have another lesson to learn on top of the lie that you told yourself of who you are. And the more things that we've covered up, the thicker that layer becomes. And it becomes so many onion skins from not looking at who we are initially. And a lot of it we don't know that's there, because it's not uncovered until we get to the point where we can't stand it anymore, and we need to uh, relieve ourselves of our own crap. But when you think about it, that false you that you portrayed over the years is a mask that you wore, and it attracted someone else's mask. And then you have these two false images before each other, pretending to live out this scenario, this scene of what we call life, or what we call a relationship, or what have you. But they're false images because it's not the real other person and it's not the real you. And the scary part is, and I think we inherently know this, and that's why we pull back from it, is that the scary thing is that you know, you know that that's not you. And you know that you're not comfortable with that, but you wear the mask anyway. But I think we know, also know that once we look at it, then we're no longer on the same vibration as the other person that we're with. And that's scary too. So we can continue to keep the mask up, continue to keep that facade up so we can assure that this person is still there for us or with us, that we're not alone, that we're not lonely. So, but eventually, because you've seen it the first time, and that's the trigger warning right there. Because if you've seen yourself and you comprehended it's something that you like or either don't like, you can't unsee it. It now becomes you. It now becomes a part of you, that part of you that you know that you see. And so, walking in this mask all day long, you're walking around with this facade and you're feeling as an imposter because you're portraying this thing that's not you. And when someone approaches you with a vibration or an attitude or something that triggers that part of you that's true, your false face defends yourself, gets angry, and lashes out because it's like, you can't see me. You can't see. That's the whole thing. It's like, okay, you can't see me. And that's the part that lashes out. That's the part that puts up a wall. And that's the part that, excuse me, lies, cheats, steals. Oh, and in this day and age, just immediately try to take somebody out just to cover up that true self, that part that you believe has been seen, that you've tried so many ways to cover up, and you hope that nobody else sees it. But because this person came and triggered that part of you that you've been trying to cover up, now you're angry. Now you have to do something to deflect. Now you have to redirect the sight. And in that, we're actually putting on another layer again. I mean, we try to bury that part that we don't want to look at. We try to bury that part so deep that so we initially we don't want the other person to see it. That's the reason why we're doing it. We don't want the other person to see it. But in not allowing or think that we're putting up this wall or this face for the other person not to see it, we're actually not looking at it ourselves, which then it becomes such an integral part of what we portray as who we think we are. And it's so not true. And I believe that that's the pain that we carry. I believe that's the part that we act out on the stage of life because we don't want to get to the part that's real. We don't know if there's something else out there that matches what that true part is, because we don't even know what the true part is. I mean, it's a scary journey. It's a scary journey, but how would you ever know if you don't try it? How would you ever know who you could be or what you could be if you don't try it? If you don't try to just take a peek at it and admit that it's there and then accept that it's there. and then love yourself for taking that step. That I think that's the biggest part. It's hard to accept that it's there because we're not sure how to love that part of us because it hasn't been loved for so long. We don't know how to take a look at that part and love it and nurture it and give it what it needs so it can go where it needs to go. That's one of the hardest lessons. One of the hardest lessons. I got to ponder on that some more. Thanks for listening.